Okay, everybody, we're going to go ahead and run through how to graph using Desmos. A few things we're going to need from the first graph that we completed. The first thing we're going to need is our actual graph data. Now, this is the data that the graph is going to show us that we need to copy exactly. So if I start off, I notice that down here, I have data that I could use. So this is my x-axis. My x starts at 0 and it runs through all the x's, including the fractional parts. And it stops actually right here because I want to see that part of the graph. So if I look to see how I'm stepping from here to here, from here to here, and it looks like I'm stepping by fives. So if I add 5 to 45, I go all the way up to 50. Remember, this is not the domain. This is the actual graph settings. So I start at 0, run all the way through 50, stepping by 5. I have a title called time, and it's being done in minutes. Okay, now I want all my y values from the graph. So I'm going to choose a different color so you can see it. So I want all of this information right here. So it looks like my y's will start at 0 and they go through all the y's until it hits this part right up here. And you'll notice that this time I'm stepping by, looks like 15s. So if I add 15 to 120, I get 135. My step was 15. And my title is water with a capital W in quartz. Quartz. Okay. The only other piece of information I need were all my ordered pairs. And again, all my ordered pairs, it started at 0, 0, and it ran all the way up to 1075. That was my first ordered pair. Then somebody pulled the plug, so it started at 1075, and it emptied down to 15 minutes at 60 quarts. Then somebody plugged it up again and filled it, and it started at filling at 1560, and we filled it up until it hit 21,105. At that point, somebody sat in a tub and just marinated. They just took a tub bath, and they started at, and I'm going to draw a line here so it's hopefully not too confusing. They started at 21,105, and they ran it all the way through 36 at 105. They didn't gain or lose any water. Then finally the person got tired, decided to get out of the tub, and emptied the tub out. So they started at 36 with 105 quarts until it hit 47 minutes with 0 quarts. You're going to need to write all this information down in order to use Desmos correctly. Go ahead and hit pause, write it down, and then follow me along as I open up Desmos. All right, so you're going to need an internet browser, and I already typed desmos.com, desmos.com. We're going to want to use the graphing calculator, so I'm going to hit the graphing calculator button, and this is your palette. So first things first, we got to tell the computer, if you see right now it's starting at -10 and it's running all the way through +10. Well, we don't want that. We want it to start at 0 and run all the way to 50. Then you'll notice down here it starts at, looks like -10, and then runs all the way up to +10 for the domain, the range, and we don't want that either. So if you look right here, that right there is your tool to open up the graph settings. My big peeve here is I don't never want to see minor grid lines, so I always take that off. Here is where you add the title, and if the title is going to be time in minutes. Okay, now I get to set my graph settings for my x-axis, which started at 0, ran to 50 with steps of 5. Now I'm going to repeat the same thing for the y-axis. I want to start at, well, it looks like I accidentally put something here. Notice it turned red when it didn't like what I did. Now for this one, we're going to do water in quarts. Going to start at 0, run it through 135 with steps of 15. That's all you have to do. Once you finish that, come back up to the little monkey wrench and click it, and now you're set. Okay, now we're dealing with a table of values, and the table of values is going to connect 2 at a time. Say, for instance, from 00 to 1075. So what you want to do now is you want to come up here to this plus, and there's an option called table. So we're going to enter our first values. We wanted to start at 00 and run all the way up to 10 and 75. And if you look really closely, you can see one little dot right here, and there's another little dot right there. You can barely see it, but don't worry, it'll show up later. Now you see this big green dot with all the little dots in it? Hold it. Don't let it go. Hold it for just a few seconds. And when you do, you're going to get the options. Okay, if you just let it go too quick, it's not going to give you options. Okay, apparently I let it go too quick, so let's do it again. I'm just going to hold on to it. Now, what I want is I want to connect them with a line. Voila, there's your line. Now, that's only the first one. Now what I want to do is I want to go to number 2, and let's do another table. This time it was going to connect from 1075, and remember we lost water for 5 minutes, so it would be 15 down to 60. Now if you look, it changed the color. It always will change the color so you can see it a little bit better, but it gets to a point where it runs out of colors and then it just reverts to black. So what we're going to do again, we're going to go right here to this little bunch of dots. We're going to hold it for just a few seconds. Tell it you want another line. There you go. Okay, don't hit this X. If you do, it'll erase it. So now we want our third set. Hit plus, hit table. This time the person filled the tub. They started at 15 minutes with 60 quarts, and they ran it for to 21 minutes and had 105 quarts of water. Okay, again, I'm going to hold the little dot and tell it I want a line. And there you go. Voila. This is where the person sat in the tub and took his bath. So now we're going to tell Desmos I want another table of dots. I want to just sit in the tub from 21 at 105 to 36 at 105. Now you see they're straight across. Again, if I hold my little dot, I can tell it that I want a line. And there's my other line. And now finally the person gets tired of the tub. It's going to get out. I'm going to empty the tub. They're starting at, again, I need another table, at 36 minutes with 105 quarts. And we're going to go to 47 minutes with 0 quarts because, of course, the tub is now empty. I'm going to hold my little button and I'm going to tell the computer I want a line. Okay, there's your graph. This is what we have to copy and paste onto the actual worksheet. Here's the procedure. You have this little button right here in the top right corner. It's called Share Graph. If you click it once, it's going to say, what do you want to share? Well, I want to share the graph. I don't want to copy the link because I actually want the picture of the graph. So I come over here and I say Export Image. There's a picture of what it's going to look like. Now, sometimes you want a little bit different. Sometimes this is just fine. It's up to you, personal preference. But if you look, it's got everything on it that I need. So for me, using a Windows computer, I hit download. It puts it here in the bottom. And if I click it, that's exactly what I'm going to see. Now I could paste it anywhere I want. For you guys, it's going to be a little bit different. Instead of dropping it on the bottom left-hand corner, I think it puts it on the top right-hand corner. And from right there, you can copy and paste it. Now, when you copy and paste it, be careful. Make sure that you paste it right over the actual graph itself. Okay, so let's see if, because mine is a little different, mine operates slightly weirder. You're going to just have to play with it a little bit and see if you can get yours to copy and paste right on top of the actual empty graph. Well, hope this helps out. Remember, help each other out. If you got questions, ask each other. And Desmos works beautifully. First few times, it's going to take you a little while. After that, you'll figure it out.